If you're a beginner and want to build a 10K a month online income in 2026, this is the only video you need. No fluff, no bullshit, no get rich quick schemes, just the exact steps. We aren't building some fake online business, we're building one simple skill that businesses are already paying for to build your online income. The reason most beginners fail isn't because they're lazy, it's because they get stuck in a research loop and being sold the wrong business models online. You might have watched 50 videos, saved 200 posts, and feel like you're still in the same position, not having a clear understanding of how to actually earn online. This video is here to solve that problem. By the end of the video, you are gonna have a clear understanding and actionable steps of how you can actually go from beginner to building your own agency and earning online and having complete freedom with that business. You don't need experience, you don't need a personal brand, you don't even need startup capital to start this business. All you need is to be able to focus, watch this, and take the steps that I go through. So let's hop straight into the video. So I was in the exact same position as you 3 years ago. I was a plasterer in the UK, living in Derby, and I'd earned literally nothing online. I'd never ran an online business, I had no experience, and 3 years later, I've built a simple service agency. I now live in Bali, earning 23K a month online, which seems ridiculous, but it is simply by following these steps I'm about to go through today. Who is this for? This is for people that want to build a sustainable online income of life of freedom. No inconsistent income from stuff like crypto or Forex. This will give you a sustainable income, and that's what I wanted to build that life of freedom. It's for people that currently have a skill set that they can sell. You might do marketing within your 9 to 5, you might do sales, you might have some experience in AI. Whatever that is, you might have a skill set already, or freelancing, or if you're willing to learn one. If you're willing to learn a skill as well, this video is for you. It's for also people who are willing to actually take action to build this life. As I said, you don't need a personal brand, you don't need startup capital, you don't need business knowledge, and you do not need a degree. But please do not watch this video if you're just chasing a get rich quick scheme. If you're wanting to earn 50K in the next 30 days, this is not for you. And those schemes anyway do not work. This is for people that want to actually build a skill set which will work for years and years to come. And this is not for people that want instant results with no effort. You will have to watch this video, you will have to take the steps in order to build this life. But once you take these steps, you will be able to earn online and have that life of complete freedom. And the reason I know that is because it's the exact steps that I took. And you might think, who am I? Why should I listen to you? As I said, I was a plasterer. I've built this life of freedom, traveled to over 40 countries in the past 2 years, and now earning very, very well online, which gives me a complete freedom, both time, location, and financial. And I've not just done it for me. I've done it for people like Tom, who's working in sales in London and is now living out in Bali. People like Johnny, now living out in Australia. He was working a 9 to 5 in Ireland, and so many more results which you can see there. But let's hop straight into the video because that is what you're here for. And also make a note, all the resources that you need throughout the video are in the description. You can get access to what I'm going through here in the description, and also many, many more resources. So what is a simple service agency? I mentioned that I run a simple service agency and earn over 20K a month through that. But what is it? So it's just an individual with a skill. They provide a service to either a business or an individual with a problem, and they get paid for that service. It is very, very simple, which is why it's one of the best models online. And some examples of this are an individual with social media skills. They provide social media management for a business, for example, a gym struggling with their lack of social media presence and sales through social media, and they might get paid 3K a month retainer, so a monthly income of 3K a month for providing that social media management. You've got individuals that might have AI automation skills. They provide AI automation systems, for example, accounting businesses with inefficient systems, and they get paid a retainer for doing that. They might have individuals with a sales skill, and these might be skills they currently have or skills that they've learned. They provide the service of high ticket sales, for example, for coaching businesses with a low close rate or a lack of time, and they get paid in commission. So if the coaching is 10K, if this salesperson sells it, they then get 1.5K commission for simply taking a sales call. So why is a simple service agency the best online model? And honestly, it truly is. You have very low startup costs. So it's not like drop shipping or crypto or Forex where you need to put a lot of money into it at the start. You need to put a lot of risk essentially into the model before you even start. An agency, there is pretty much zero startup costs apart from maybe a few subscriptions for systems. It's a very predictable and reliable income. As I said, you can get paid monthly retainers and you'll have clients on contracts for 3, 6, 12 months. So you can predict your income, which allows you to travel, which allows you to live in places like Bali without worrying about money every single month. And there's no fluctuation in terms of like the markets, which are external. It's fully remote. You can do these skills for absolutely anywhere. There's very high profit margins. Pretty much every agency runs at a 75+% profit margin, so you're keeping most of the money yourself. And also, most importantly, they are very easy to run and start. Stuff like clothing businesses, you've got to deal with the logistics, buying the stock. This is simply you have a service and you're providing it to a business. That is it. And what I've got is a 3-step system. So this is what we're going over today. And these 3 steps will take you from beginner to your first 10K a month online. And they're simply 3 things. 1 is the painkiller offer. 2 is a predictable client acquisition. How do you actually get clients? And 3 is scalable service delivery, because we don't just want one of these clients at 5K a month. We want to be able to service more than one. So first off, let's start with the painkiller offer. If you're on this video, you probably have a skill and a niche. You might be working in marketing in your 9 to 5. You might be working in sales in your 9 to 5. You might have self-taught yourself AI. And if you do not have a skill or niche, there'll be a link to a video at the top of the screen, which is an hour-long skill and niche, which you'll watch that video and you'll come away with a complete understanding of what service you want to provide. So if you're not in this position where you're at the stage where you can monetize the service because you're unsure what you want to do, go and watch that video and then come back to this video and you'll then have the clear understanding and everything will make a lot more sense. And the painkiller offer comes down to this one sentence: I help X get Y result with Z system. So for example, I help health and wellness businesses generate consistent sales through social media marketing. I help accounting firms drastically reduce costs through AI automation systems. I help coaching businesses increase their revenue and close rate through high ticket sales systems. So it's a clear person that you help, what result you get them, and how do you do that. That is what we want from our offer. But as I mentioned, a painkiller offer. What is a painkiller offer? So we have 2 types of offer. We have a painkiller offer and we have a vitamin offer. The painkiller offer solves an urgent and painful problem. It's called a bleeding neck problem. So a problem that they need solving urgently. And companies need and are actively looking for someone to solve this problem. So example in real life would be, if let's say you broke your arm, you're in the middle of nowhere, you break your arm. That is a problem that needs solving urgently, otherwise there is big consequences. You can't live the rest of your life with a broken arm. So if someone came along with a solution to solve that problem quickly, you are actively looking for someone to solve this issue, to solve your broken arm, and you're willing to pay pretty much anything or a lot of money to solve this issue. So that is a bleeding neck problem. You've got a broken arm, you really need it solved, you're looking for someone to solve it, you're willing to pay to solve it, and then someone comes along and says, I can help you with that, your arm will be fixed within a couple of months, and you just need to pay this. So how that works in a business context is there might be a business or a niche, so a business that their sales are dropping rapidly. They're not generating any sales. If we do not solve this problem, we will go bankrupt. So if you have a service that increases sales within the next 90 days and you help businesses who are struggling with sales, they are going to book a call a lot more quickly, they'll be happy to pay more, and they'll want to solve it straight away. We want these services and we want these solutions where people need that problem solved. They are actively looking, they really want someone to solve it because it makes it much easier to sell. Whereas we have then the vitamin offer, and this is what we don't want. These are offers that they're nice to have, like yeah, it'd be nice to have the vitamin, but it's not going to change my life. It's not going to solve a really, really painful problem. And by doing this, you constantly need to convince companies they need your service. So let's say you're an individual and you have a slight problem that might be nice to have improved at some point. So you might, I could have a bit of magnesium. It might slightly improve my sleep, but it's not urgent. And then the solution, let's say you're providing the solution, this vitamin, it might improve the situation slightly, but I need to convince you a lot to take the vitamin because it's not going to drastically solve that big problem of yours. It's not urgent. It's not a priority. So then if the price was too high, you'd be like, no, I'm not that bothered about it. I don't want to pay £50 a month for a vitamin. Whereas if you had a broken arm, you would want to pay pretty much anything, or bleeding neck problem where if it was going to kill you, you would literally pay anything. You would take out loans to solve that issue. So in terms of a business context, a company might be, let's change our branding. Let's get a new logo. Let's get a new logo maybe. And it's a nice to have, it'd be nice to have a slightly more modern logo. So if you're a service that creates new branding and logos for companies, you'll probably need to convince companies a lot that they need a new logo. And they're likely to say to you it's not an urgent problem. We've got more. It's not going to make us money. It's not going to solve an inefficiency in our business. So we might do it in a few months, and we're not willing to pay that much. Can you see the difference in terms of the painful problem and the painkiller offer compared to the vitamin offer? The vitamin offer is really hard to sell because it's constantly we might do it in the future. We might spend a couple of £100 on it in the future. Whereas the painkiller offer is, we need it solved now. We're actively looking for someone and we will pretty much pay anything to get this done to save our business. So creating your offer. So you should have watched that video of mine where I had a skill, how to pick a skill at a niche, or you might already have a clear one because you're working a 9 to 5 where you've got a skill, or you're currently a freelancer. So what is your service? So I want you to think, what is the service I'm going to provide? That could be sales, meta ads, Google ads, social media management, AI systems, appointment setting, anything. It could be anything that you can do online. What is your niche? And the reason we want a niche, by niche I mean like an industry or a specific person you want to target. So that could be the health and wellness industry, it could be accounting firms, it could be gyms. Who is the audience you're targeting with your service? And the reason we do this is a jack of all trades is a master of none. You can't solve everyone's problem. If you try and solve everyone's problem, you'll end up solving no one's. You want to have a specific niche where you really dial it in and be like, I know this person, I know this business, I know how to solve their problem, and I've got really good at solving it. And over time, you'll get better and better at solving these problems. What is the transformation you get for your niche? So your niche has a painful problem and they want to get to their dream situation. What is the transformation you get them? So in the examples we used above, you're not just creating content. You don't want to just say, I create content for businesses. You're selling a predictable inbound content system that generates qualified leads every single week. So we're really focused on the dream outcome that company has. You're not creating AI systems. You're selling a 24/7 back-end system that saves your team hours every week and stops leads slipping through the cracks. You're not just taking sales calls, you're selling a repeatable closing process that turns leads into cash collected. So what this does is it focuses on the outcome, not the actual service. Because people don't really care how they get there. They just want the result. They want the benefit they get from your service, not just the service itself. They don't really care if you're posting 5 videos a week. They want to know what those 5 videos do for them. And by the way, all of this will go for your specific offer as well in a moment. What is your unique mechanism to get there? So people like new and novel offers. You want to create your own blue ocean. You don't want to be competing with similar businesses. You want to create your own mechanism, which is yours, which creates a market of one. So how is this different to what I've been doing? So you might go to a business and they've already tried organic social media, they've already tried AI, they've already tried sales processes. But how is yours different? You don't want their past experiences to taint your offer. So what I mean by this is, if you say, I run meta ads, they might have tried meta ads themselves. They have no clue how to do meta ads, and never watched a video, or they've got zero experience of how to do meta ads. But they tried to run them and they didn't work. So now instead of taking blame themselves because people don't do that, they didn't think, oh, I've got no experience with meta ads, that's why they didn't work. They will say, meta ads don't work. So we don't want to then have their past experiences taint our service. So that's why we don't just say we run meta ads, we come up with a unique mechanism of how you do things. So that could be an inbound content ecosystem, a 24/7 follow-up engine, a prospect payment framework. So people love stuff that is new and novel. So that's why they're like, oh, maybe the inbound content ecosystem, maybe that is the thing that I've been missing in my business that will solve everything. And you should come up with a final offer. And that should look something like, I help niche go from painful A to dream B using my named system. So painful A is their current painful situation. It might be not getting sales. Dream situation, which is constantly overflowing with sales, using your mechanism. So some examples here. I help health and wellness businesses go from inconsistent inquiries to predictable weekly leads using my inbound content ecosystem. Or I help accounting firms go from admin overload and missed follow-ups to a streamlined 24/7 workflow that saves 10 to 20 hours a week using my ops autopilot system. I help coaching businesses go from leads not converting and deals dying in follow-up to predictable cash collected using my prospect to payment framework. So what we now want to do is create an action step for you. So as I said, this is not just theory, this is actionable steps you can take away to build this agency. So with this action step, what we do is 10% human, 80% AI, 10% human. So the 10% human is we put some input into the AI, but once the AI spits out the output, the stuff that we're then going to use, your offer, it will spit out an offer which is specifically for you. We then want to use 10% of our own human skills. So read through it. What do you think should tweak? We don't just want to take the AI as it is. It does all of the heavy lifting, but we still want to tweak it and make sure it's really good for our service and niche. So what I want you to do, as I said, this is in the description. So paste this into ChatGPT and input your service niche and any context, e.g. painful situation or dream outcome ideas. So what you need to do is copy and paste all of this and put it into ChatGPT. And then the only thing that you need to do inside ChatGPT is add in your service here. So it might be meta ads, it might be social media management, add in your niche, who are you targeting? And if you've got any ideas in terms of painful situations or dream outcomes your niche might have or your service might provide, write them in there as well. And it will come up with 3 different lines like this. So it will give you your final offer, and we'll give you 3 options. Look at the one which looks best for you and seems to fit you the best, and then also you can tweak it as well if you think it needs some tweaking. So we've now created our offer. We've got our service, we've got our niche, and now we have our offer. We've got an offer, a painkiller offer, which solves a direct problem for a business. So now step 2 is predictable client acquisition. So what is client acquisition? It's just simply a way of how we get clients. We want to generate interest through inbound and outbound marketing, which I'm about to go over, don't you worry. So we want to generate interest from our niche. We want to then get that interest booked onto a sales call, and we then want to close the prospect on the call. So we'll have a call with someone, we'll see if we can help them, we'll then be able to, if we can help them, they will then pay us to then provide that service. And as I said, this video covers all of that. So to start with, there's 2 types of acquisition, outbound and inbound marketing. So this is you as a simple service agency. And this is the business on the other end that you're trying to get as a client. So outbound marketing is essentially you reaching out to them. So, hey, we provide X service to solve Y problem. Do you want to hear more? Whereas inbound marketing would be them reaching out to you. So, hey, I saw you provide X service. I think you can help us. Can we chat? So inbound marketing is people contacting you instead of you reaching out to them. This is typically through social media content, referrals, websites, SEO, so that's search engine optimization. So where you rank on Google, people might find your website there and then reach out to you. They might email you or message you saying, I saw you provide this service, can you help us? And inbound marketing, it generally does take a bit longer to get going because you need to drive traffic to your website, or you need to get views on social media of your niche for them then to reach out to you. So it does take longer to get going, but once it works, it's really good because it builds trust up front. They're reaching out to you. So they've probably watched some of your videos, they've read some of your testimonials, they've seen your website. So they've got some of that trust and they're now reaching out to you, which makes it a lot easier. So that will naturally make it easier for you to close them on a sales call. And then we have outbound marketing. So that is where you reach out to individuals or businesses. And that's typically through emails, direct messages, cold calling, ads. And this is a lot quicker. You can get results from this from day one of doing outreach. And it's a lot quicker to get response and interest, but there's slightly less trust coming into the sales process because you've reached out to them, not them reaching out to you. But this is not a problem. You can still build a massive business with this. And that is what we focus on as a beginner, as starting out an agency, because it's a much quicker process, and we can also do inbound later on, maybe when you get to 10, 20K a month. So now we know the different types of outreach. How do you know what outreach you should do for your specific situation? And I want you to imagine it like this. I've got a bit of an analogy. Let's say you're a fisherman, and bear with me, it might seem a bit of a weird analogy. You're a fisherman, so what do you first do? You've got your rod, and at the end, you need some bait. You need a way to get the fish interested, don't you? So with the bait, different fish like different things. So what we need is the right bait for the fish that you want to catch. And then we also, if we're catching a certain fish, not every fish is in every lake in the world or every sea in the world. We need to be like, okay, we want this fish. Where does this fish hang out? Where does this fish stay? Where does this fish live? Is it in the sea? Is it in certain lakes? Is it in certain ponds? Because we want to make sure we're putting the bait in the right area. And also casting. The more time you spend and the more times you cast out, the more chance you're going to get a nibble, you're going to get interest from the fish. So this might seem, what is he on about? Why is Joe talking about fish? But this is the exact same with outreach. So the bait is having the correct offer and messaging. So to get interest from our ideal client, we need the right offer. We need to speak to their problems, speak to their dream outcomes to then actually get that interest from them. The lake, not every business, not every founder, not every decision maker is on every platform. You want to cast where your ICP, which is an ideal client profile, essentially just the people that you want to sign for your business. Where do they hang out? So they might hang out on email a lot. They might hang out on Instagram. They might hang out on LinkedIn. They might hang out on Facebook. They might pick up their phone a lot if you called them. Where do we actually want to target them? Where are we actually fishing? And finally, the more correct outreach you do, the more likely you are to get interest. So are we casting enough? Are we sending enough emails? Are we sending enough DMs? And it's a line from Alex Hormozy, which I love, which is, do so much volume that it would be unreasonable for you to be unsuccessful. I think it's a component that a lot of people miss out. They might say, oh, I sent 10 DMs and I have not signed a client yet. It's just, you need to be sending a lot, and I'll go through that in this video. So as I said, you want to be fishing in the right lake. So businesses, they might be on Facebook, they might be on email, they might be on Instagram, they might be on LinkedIn. Where does your decision maker, where does your ICP hang out and more likely to see your message? They might be on all 4 platforms, but where are they more likely to see your message? So for example, health and wellness businesses, they're very easy to contact on email. They spend a lot of time on Instagram, LinkedIn as well. You can find a lot of founders on there. Facebook, not so much. Accounting firms, a lot of them email. This is very heavy on email. They spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, a bit of time on Instagram, and not much on Facebook as much. Coaching businesses are very big on Instagram. LinkedIn as well. Email, they'll check their emails, and Facebook, not so much. So what you want to do now is think, okay, with my niche, where do I think they hang out? From your experience, and a good way to think about this is, where do they market? The reason coaching businesses are on Instagram and LinkedIn, it's because that is how they get their clients. So they spend a lot of time on there, which means if you outreach on that platform, they spend a lot of time, they're more likely to see your message. So the action step I want you to do is note down the 2 main platforms where your ideal client the person that you want to sign hangs out, and where are they easiest to get in contact with. And if you're unsure, I've got another AI prompt that you can put into ChatGPT. All you need to do is add your service and niche. This should be a reasonably simple one to think of, but if you just want to double check with AI as well, just to see if it came up with the same idea, if it has a different angle, you can also do that with this as well. The link for this sheet is in the description as well. So yeah, make sure you do that before we move on. Same with the offer as well. So now we've got the offer, now we know where our ideal client actually hangs out, where we want to do the outreach. So how do we find them? Okay, we know they hang out on email, for example. What is the system to actually find the client? How do we email the right client? So first off, there's a site called apollo.io. And what this does is find the email of basically anyone. They've got, I think, like 270 million emails on there. So what we want to do is go on to Apollo.io. And what you'll notice in the people section, on the left-hand side, there is filters that help you narrow down to find the right prospects in your niche. So it looks something like this. So you've got like job titles, you've got loads of different filters, and then it comes out with the prospects' names and their email. So what this does is, let's say you're targeting health and wellness businesses, you can find loads of founders of health and wellness business, find their emails, which means you can email them directly. We don't want to be emailing the info at email or customer support, because it's not going to the person that can actually decide whether they want to go with you or not. We want to target the decision maker, which 90% of the time is the owner or founder. Sometimes it could be like a marketing manager or like head of marketing or something like that. So we want to go to these filters on the left, and we want to filter them to find your ideal client, so your niche. So you want to tick email status verified. Job titles, you want to be targeting like CEOs, founders, co-founders, owners, presidents. Location, so you want to target countries with money and speak the same language as you. So you can do this in stages. So if you're from the UK, you can start off in the UK. If you're from US, you can start off in the US. And once you've gone through all those leads, you can then move country to US, Australia, New Zealand, anything like that. Just making sure it's country that speaks your language is the main thing. Employees. So what size of business are you going to be targeting? So something like AI systems, you can target reasonably big companies. Stuff like social media management, if you're starting out, you might want to target companies between 1 and 20 employees, because they're less likely to have a social media manager, so you can fill that role. So you just have to think, okay, how many employees are the companies that I want to target? And finally, industry and keywords. So what you can do here is write in your niche and any similar keywords. So you might write health and wellness companies, and it will come up with the founders in the UK, 1 to 20 employees in the health and wellness niche, and you will get like thousands of emails, which you can then outreach to. So yeah, your niche, which we've gone through earlier, you can add in there. And once you get to the stage where you're happy with all of these, the emails that it's come up with, you want to copy the Apollo URL. So at the top, there'll be a URL, the website link essentially, and you want to copy that and paste it into a platform called exportapollo.com. Super simple. It might seem complicated, but it's super simple. Just follow these steps. You can then export these. It might take like half an hour. Sometimes it takes multiple hours depending on how many leads you've put in. And then you want to export as a CSV, which is basically like an Excel spreadsheet. And what you can do with this CSV, it will also have all the company names and all the names of the people you're targeting. So you can actually use this for Instagram and LinkedIn outreach as well. You can find their LinkedIn, or you can search up the company names because you already know they're your ideal client, and then you can message them on the other platforms as well. But once you've got the CSV, you then put it into mailvery.com, because we want to make sure that emails don't bounce back. We want to make sure we're only emailing emails that are verified, we know will go to the inbox and not to spam, and also don't bounce back to us, as in they get rejected because it's not a real email. And then finally, after Mailvery, you want to export the CSV and only use verified emails. So yeah, super simple. And then you just put it into a platform called Instantly, and that will automatically send the emails for you. You don't have to sit there typing them all day. You can upload this CSV file of, you might have 1,000 leads. You can then put that into Instantly, put in your messaging, and it will automatically send them every single day and then you'll obviously gain interest from that. And don't worry, we also go into the messaging in this video. So the main way to do Instagram and LinkedIn is using this CSV file. So as I said, you'll have a company name, so you can then go on Instagram, search that company name, and then message them. Same with LinkedIn, you can maybe find the founder or the CEO of that company, type it into LinkedIn, connect with them, and then message them. A second method for both these platforms is find the ideal client profile. So if you're health and wellness industry, you might find like a perfect company for you. It might be a sauna company or supplement company. Go onto their profile, message them, and then go onto their suggested accounts. And it will find companies that are very similar to them. Go onto that profile of the new company that you found, check that it's the sort of company you could help and you'd want to work with, and then message them. And you just keep doing that. With LinkedIn, the best method is find an account your ICP would follow. And so let's say if you're targeting business owners in the accounting space, find like an authority in that space, like an accountant that posts a lot, which gets a lot of comments from other accountants. Go onto their posts, look at their comments, and then go onto those profiles and connect with and message those people as well. So that is how to do finding your ideal client. So we now know where your client hangs out. We've got an offer, we've got the bait, we know which lake they're in. So now we need the messaging. How do we actually take our offer and put it into a message that we send to them on Instagram, LinkedIn, email? So the message is super, super simple. So the framework is essentially, hey, their name, call out your ICP, call out your ideal client with a question. So are you struggling with this, or are you looking for this dream outcome? Add any authority. So they might think, okay, why should I listen to this person? So even if you've been working in a job for a year, or you've taught yourself ad systems, or you've previously had experience or a testimonial where you've helped a company go from this to this, or you've worked in marketing for a big company that people will recognize. Whatever that is, any bit of authority you can add in here. If you don't have any, that's completely fine. That will build with time and we can add that to the messaging later down the line. Then you want to add your offer, so you can use your one-line offer. And then we just want to say, if helpful, I can send over a 2-minute video which will help with X problem, and thanks. So I've got some examples here. So it might be, hey name, are you getting consistent inquiries each week through your organic social media, or does it come in waves? I've worked in the health and wellness space for 3 years, so I've seen how common it is to have a great service but inconsistent demand. I help health and wellness businesses go from inconsistent inquiries to predictable weekly leads using my inbound content ecosystem. I can send over a free 2-minute personalized video showing the framework if that would be helpful. I've got another one here. Hey name, do followers and admin ever build up and cause things to get missed? The reason I ask is because I install the 24/7 follow-up workflow that stops leads slipping through the cracks and saves teams 10+ hours every single week. The best part is it's completely risk-free on your end. You simply do not pay unless the automation solves the problem. If follow-ups still get missed and you do not save time each week, you do not pay. If helpful, I can send a 2-minute video showing the workflow. So with this one, instead of authority, we're removing the risk. So we're making it more of a no-brainer for them. And I've got another one here. Example 3, hey name, do you ever find leads show interest, then go quiet in follow-up and never actually pay? I recently helped X coaching business go from 10K a month cash collected to consistent 25K a month cash collected using my prospect payment framework. If a similar framework might be helpful for you, I can send a 2-minute video showing the follow-up structure we used. So this is, once you get a testimonial, you can then use it in this sort of way. And again, there are some important things to note here. Please think from the prospect's perspective. Do not think, I want to make money, what do I want? Think of it, how can you help them? What can they provide? Think of it from their perspective. How can you help them, not yourself? So that's why we always say, oh, if helpful, I can send a 2-minute video to help you. Number 2 is make it easy to read. Any friction caused is a chance they stop reading. Make sure there's paragraphs, don't use any fancy words, and make sure there's no signs of AI, like M dashes or just AI wording. So you can see with these, they're super, super easy to read, like a couple of lines each paragraph. Also, why should they listen to you? Hook them in with the question, and then provide a reason they should listen to you. That could be with some authority and trust. As I said, this might be harder at the start if you're starting out, but that's not a problem at all. You can still easily get clients without that. And you can always use stuff like risk reversals, so saying there's no risk on your end. But with time, we can then build up this authority, the testimonials, and use this. So the next action step is now creating your messaging for your offer. So remember, 10% human, give them as much information as you can. 80% AI does the heavy lifting. And then at the end, with the messaging, just tweak it yourself slightly. Look at how you can tweak it. Maybe make the wording a bit more like you and a bit more human, less AI-like. So yeah, copy and paste this prompt, fill in this yellow section with all your information, and it will come out with 3 different messaging options. And as I said, you can then tweak it yourself. So well done, we're flying. Well done if you're this far in the video so far. We're absolutely flying. You've done most of the heavy lifting now. We've got most of the things now. We've got the offer. We know who we're targeting. We know where they are. We know how to message them. And now we know exactly what we're gonna say to them. So now, you're gonna start getting nibbles. You're gonna start getting interest. So how do we actually respond to these positive replies? So, hey Joe, thanks so much for the message. Yeah, I'm interested. Can you send over that video you mentioned? And what we use is Loom. So if you've never used Loom before, it is literally what I'm using on this video. It is simply, it looks like this. So you will have the website of the prospect in the background, or you might have their social media or their LinkedIn, whatever that is, just something that shows it's personal to them. It will then have you in the corner, and you simply record, speak, and then that's it, you send them that video. And this is how it looks in the email. There'll be a little like GIF, so that'll be moving as well, which is really good because as soon as someone opens this email, they'll see, okay, that's my social media, that's someone speaking, it's moving about, this is personalized to me, I should take the time to watch it, because they've also already asked for the video. And the reason we use Loom is it's really personal. It's a much better conversion rate in terms of getting people on sales calls. So many people online these days are so lazy. So us taking 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes, to send this to them is an absolute game changer. And again, we have a framework for creating these Loom videos. You might think, shit, I don't know what to say on camera. But it is super simple. You'll have their website in the background. You'll only be a small dot in the corner, so it's not like a proper YouTube video, don't worry about it. And it's something you get a lot better with time and practice. You'll get to the point where it's just so repetitive, you know exactly what you say, you don't really need to think. It is more just about making it natural, making it personal. You don't want it to feel really salesy and like, hello, my name is Joe. Like you want it to feel very natural. And this is the framework. And again, I'll help you with the scripting. Hey, their name, personalized comment about business, website, or social media. Straight away, we want to show that it's not AI, but like, oh, I love this on your website. Oh, I've seen your products. Like it's something I definitely want to use. And try and make it genuine. Like that will come across if it's genuinely something you'll use. And because it's a niche you're interested in, or a niche that you know something about, this should be easier to do to make it personalized. Authority, if you've got any authority, drop that in as well. Show how your offer bridges the gap between their current pain point and their dream outcome. So struggling with leads, consistent leads, you're the gap that bridges between those. And then invite them on a call. So I'd love to get you on a call. Remove the objection. They might think, I don't want another sales call. So don't worry, it's not a sales call. Worst case scenario, you come away with valuable information about how you can implement yourself to solve X problem, and then thank them and tell them how to book a call. So that is the simple framework. As I said, we want it to come across as natural. We don't want to just be reading a script and sound robotic. And yeah, it might take a few attempts, but after you've made like 5-10 of these, you'll become a natural. So here is an example, and I'll try and do it in the voice that I kind of use as well. So, hey John, great to hear back for you. By the way, I love the website and all your supplements look so great. I'm a bit of a supplement and biohacking nerd myself, so this is right up my street. But yeah, anyway, I'm Joe, founder of JMT Media. I've grown my own personal brand to over 130,000 followers organically and helped 10 plus health and wellness businesses generate consistent sales through our content system. A lot of these companies were posting consistently, but didn't have a clear strategy that actually speaks to their ideal client and had a consistent system in place to convert these views into paying customers. So that's why I got in contact with you, as you have a really strong brand and I love the look of your products. And I feel that with our inbound content ecosystem, we can bring in a new targeted audience and convert these into predictable paying customers every single week. So what I'd love to do is invite you on a call if you think that would be helpful. And don't worry, this isn't a sales call, there won't be any sales pressure. I just want to understand more about your current content system, and even if it is something that we can help with. Worst case scenario, you come away with loads of free value and content tips that you can implement for your own business. So yeah, if this sounds useful, I'll send over a link to booking a call whenever suits you best. And I look forward to chatting you on a call soon, John, and have a great day, and I'll chat to you soon. So it's just something like that, super natural, just basically explaining who you are, how you can help them, and invite them on a call. It won't be sales pressure. And the way we do sales isn't pressurized anyway, so we're not lying to them. You're just inviting them on a call. And the reason we don't try and close in the DMs or in the emails, because it's just very, very, very tough. You need to speak to someone on a call, and you can then actually understand their pain point, actually understand their dream outcome, and actually show how your service can help them. So in terms of this Loom script, the reason I don't offer an AI prompt for this is because it has to really, really be in your own words, and just use this framework. It can be similar. It's basically an expanded version of your messaging, but just try and make it super, super natural. Use something like this, explain how your service can help them, and read through it. Practice it a few times yourself, practice it, and then do the Loom. And you can put some sticky notes on the top of your laptop if you want with just bullet points, but just please do not read the exact script. It's better for you to mess up slightly and it come across as natural than really, really scripted. An important Loom note. Number one is shoot, then take aim. So what I mean by this is don't spend weeks and weeks trying to perfect a Loom video before you even send one. Shoot, send it off, practice, and then send one off and learn from it. Send one off, learn from it. Send one off, learn from it, and keep getting better that way, rather than trying to sit there for weeks and weeks and weeks to try and create the perfect Loom, because you're never going to create the perfect one. You're going to just constantly be improving. There's always stuff you can improve on. Two is makes it maximum 2 minutes. Like, you've cold outreach to this person. They don't want to watch a 10-minute video. They just want a short 2-minute video. They can watch it easily and understand whether they want to go on a call or not. Always have their website or social media in the background so it looks very personalized and it's personalized to them. Send as a GIF. So when you go to share the Loom video, you want to copy GIF thumbnail. Don't just copy the link, copy GIF thumbnail. So what this does is makes it like this. And what this does, it makes more people open the Loom and watch the Loom because they can see it's personalized. It's not just some link where it could have been for anyone. It might be just a generic one. It shows that it's really personalized and you've actually made an effort to reach out to them. As I said, natural is better than scripting. Like, you can script it and practice it, but just don't read the script when you're doing the Loom. And never call it a sales call. Do not say, so let's go on a sales call, da 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 da. It's always a discovery call, that's why I literally go and say, don't worry, it isn't a sales call. And also with the Loom, what you really want to focus on is sell the call. And what I mean by this is try and give people reasons to come onto the sales call. Give people reasons to come onto the call. Don't try and sell your whole service here. No one is going to buy your service from a Loom video, a 2-minute Loom video. They will on the call. So what you need to do is just focus on getting them on the call, which is why we say worst case scenario, you come away with a load of free value and content tips. We're trying to make it a no-brainer to come onto the call. And now the part that you might be dreading. If you're a beginner, if you're anything like me, I dreaded sales calls. I was really nervous about them. There seems to be a lot of pressure around sales calls. But I promise I'm going to break this pressure down and make sure that you feel confident going on to those sales calls. And the reason we feel this pressure is because we watch stuff like Wolf of Wall Street. And he's given it this passionate, like almost tricking the prospect into buying stocks that are shit. And Every movie ever is just this sort of sales tactic, and this is what we always imagine, that we need to be this massive, extroverted, slimy, wearing a suit salesman, and it just really isn't the case. So you might have these beliefs around sales, that sales is only for extroverts. You have to trick people into buying. I can't do sales. People don't like being sold to. These are beliefs that you might have. They're beliefs that I had when I started. I'm an introvert, and I just thought, oh, introverts can't sell. Or I've never been like really chatty to people, so I'm not going to be good at sales. But it's just not true. These statements are objectively true. There are many different sales styles that are successful. You do have some extroverted ones, but you've got some really introverted, empathetic people, like people that actually care and are very calm on the sales call. They're not all like these high beat, like a really slimy salesman. The best salespeople are empathetic. Energy transfers on a call. You can understand if they actually care about you. They actually care about your painful situation. They actually care about delivering the service. That comes across on a call. So as long as you're someone that genuinely cares and genuinely does want to help people, that will come across, and that is the best sales skill you can have. Sales is for anyone willing to learn and take action. Anyone can get good at sales. Anyone. It just takes time. It takes practice. And it takes having the right systems, which I'm going to go through today. And you said people don't like being sold to. It's not the case. People come on to, if you get on a sales call, there is a reason that person is on the sales call. There is a reason. They have a problem that they want solving. Someone like their business is struggling, they are struggling to get sales. They really, really want someone to solve that problem. They honestly really want someone, they want to be at that dream outcome. So they're coming onto a sales call hoping you're that person, hoping you're the person that can save them, essentially. So people do like being sold to if it's the right service and if you're doing it in the right way. And the reason that we can say with confidence on Loom videos that, oh, it's not a sales call, it's not a sales call, is because we don't do that Wolf of Wall Street type of selling. We do something called consultative selling. I'm going to explain how this works. So we want to sell like a good doctor. So let's imagine you go to the doctor. Oh, doc, I've got a headache. Can you help me? A bad doctor would be like, okay, your head hurts, here's some paracetamol. That's it. They don't ask any questions. They don't understand why you've got a headache. They don't understand, have you had a headache before? They simply just, yeah, I can help you, here you go. And they're just solving the surface level problem. And that is not the type of selling we want to do. And they're basically selling at all costs. They're just providing at all costs. So what does a good doctor do? Hey doc, I've got a headache, can you help? Okay, how long have you had the headache? Well, I've had it just since last night. Okay, like, do you get headaches a lot? No, like, just every weekend. Okay, or they might say, okay, what do you do differently at weekends? Or they might say, yeah, I don't really get headaches, just last night I've had one. Okay, did you do anything differently to cause it? Well, at the weekend, I went drinking all weekend, it was 30 degrees and I didn't have any water. Okay, so that's the issue. You don't need paracetamol, you need to make sure next time that you're drinking water and you wear some sun cream. So what this doctor has done, instead of just straight away pitching what they think the solution is to this surface level problem, they've asked questions that actually understand what is the deep cause of this problem, and then they've provided the solution to this deep cause rather than just doing the surface level. So that is what we do with our selling. It might be someone, okay, we're struggling to get sales. Okay, how long have you been struggling to have to generate sales? Well, a couple of months. Okay, what have you tried to do to fix it? Oh, we just tried organic content. Okay, do you have a strategy for your organic content? No, we just kind of, on the day, like at 5 p.m, I just try and think of an idea, I look at what's trending and then post that. Okay, and how's that been working for you? And well, not great, I've not been getting sales. Have you ever generated good sales? Oh yeah. We used to have a social media manager 2 years ago that had a real strategy and that really worked, and we planned the content a week in advance. Okay, and you were generating sales from that? Yeah, that worked really well. Okay, so do you think the problem is that currently you don't have a strategy, you don't have anyone running your social media, and that is why you're not generating sales? Yeah, that could be it, to be honest. I think I've not been focused on it, I've just been panicking and just posting for the sake of it. Can you see how that's so different? You're actually understanding the problem. Whereas if someone say, I'm struggling with sales, okay, what you need is you need a high ticket closer to increase your close rate. It's not actually the solution. The problem is their social media. But without asking those questions, we don't understand that. So how do you do consultative selling? So we need to understand what their problems are, what they've tried to fix them, what their goal is, and can we even help them? And the reason I really highlight that is because that comes across in the sales call. That builds trust. I've been on sales call where I've said, sorry, after asking all the questions, I do not think I can help you. And they had so much respect for me because I'm not trying to sell at all costs. And that comes across on my other calls, and that's helped me close calls that I might not have done if I didn't go in with the attention of, can I actually help this person? And what this does is lowers the pressure on you. So you might go into sales call, or before this video, you might have thought, oh, sales calls are really scary. But you're not just pitching, you're not just focused on actually selling. You're focusing, okay, what are their problems? Can I actually help them? And you've got that genuine, it's coming across that, okay, can I actually help them? It also lowers the sales resistance. People go on sales calls and they're like, oh, I don't want to tell them information. I don't want to be sold to. But by them seeing that, okay, you're genuinely interested, you're genuinely there to help, you're genuinely trying to understand why they are in that painful situation and where they want to get to. It lowers that sales resistance. They start to trust you a lot more and open up and be like, okay, yeah, I'm willing to hear how you can help. And the 3 stages of consultative selling. 1 is the discovery phase, 2 is the pitch, and 3 is the objections and questions. So the discovery phase, this usually lasts 20 to 30 minutes, and this is where you should not be speaking a lot. And the goal of this is to understand their situation and see if you can help them. So what motivated you to come onto the call today? Well, I'm struggling with the XYZ problem. Okay, what have you tried to do to fix this problem? How has this problem been impacting you? So then you're really understanding why they're on the call, what their problem is. Okay, you're currently in this situation. What's the dream outcome? Where do you want to get to? Well, I want consistent sales, or I want this, I want that. Okay, so you're currently here, correct? And you want to get to here. Why can't you do that alone? Why are you on the call? Why can't you bridge that gap? Well, I just don't have social media knowledge, or I don't have time to run ads, or I don't want to take the sales calls myself because I don't have the expertise and I want to get there quicker. I'd rather hire someone that dedicates their time to do it, okay? And when you look into solve this problem, like now, like it's a big problem for us, we really, really need to solve it now, okay? And how committed are you to solving this problem? I want to solve it now. Like, I'm willing to put time aside. I'm willing to put money into this because we really need this solving. So what this discovery phase is understanding the painful situation, the dream outcome, and why they can't bridge that gap. And tips for this is they should be speaking 75% of the time. Simply ask the question, sit in silence, listen to them, say, okay, got it, then ask the next question. So be like, what motivated you to come onto the call today? Okay, and what have you tried to fix generating sales through social media? And you use that. People love it because there's not many people that just sit there and listen to people. People are constantly chipping in themselves. So people actually enjoy this. And this is what it looks like. You've got them in the painful situation. You want to stretch it out to their dream situation, create the gap. So now they realize there's a gap between where they are and where they want to be. And you don't create this gap yourself. You don't say, oh, you're in this position, you want to get to this position. You do it by asking questions. Why are you in this position? What are you struggling with? Okay, where do you want to get to? So they actually create the gap themselves, but you do it with your questioning. Next is the pitch. So you want to share your offer and why your service is the bridge between their current painful situation and dream outcome. So what we want to do here is they'll do the discovery phase. They'll say, I can't bridge this gap alone. I'm ready to solve it now and I'm very committed. Okay, thanks so much for answering all those questions. Well, I can say with a lot of confidence that I can help you get from painful situation to dream outcome. Can I explain how I might be able to help? And they say yes, and this is where you go into your pitch. So your pitch is simply, what is your offer and what is the mechanism that helps them solve their issue. Also, what we do is we come in and run our ad system. We really look at your ideal audience. We look at different creatives that you used before, analyze your previous ads, and what we do is create a strategy there. Every single week we optimize this, we test it, we make new creatives, da, 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 da. So what is your offer and how can you actually help them? And what is really important here is you can have a pitch script, but you want to make sure during the discovery phase you're making notes and pick up things they said in the discovery phase and explain why your service is perfect for solving their specific issue. So if they're saying, oh, our biggest pain, our social media is going well, we just do not have time, you want to tailor your pitch of saying, oh, the reason our service is so good is because it's completely hands-off on your end. We handle everything from end to end, so it completely frees up your time to do what you enjoy and do what you need to do best within your business. So you want to tailor it to what their problems are. And if you have any testimonials, you want to share how you've helped that person in a similar situation. Oh, so yeah, we worked with company XYZ in a very similar situation and took them from painful situation, dream outcome, and it's very similar to your situation, basically. Tips with this is emotions transfer on a call. Pitch with confidence. Don't say, okay, thanks for sharing all that. Yeah, I can say with confidence that we can help your business go from that situation to your dream outcome. Can I explain how? Like you need to seem confident. You need to have that passion and that confidence. Yeah, so thanks so much for sharing that, John. Like, it was really interesting to hear, and I can say, having heard all that, I can say with a lot of confidence, there's no doubt in my mind that I can help you go from that painful situation to that dream outcome. Is it okay if I kind of share how I can do that? Like, it's so much more confidence transferring. So this is what it is. You've created the gap. The pitch stage is your service. You want to show that you've got the smooth and easy bridge to get from that situation. You don't want the rickety bridge where, yeah, there's doubt and there's loads of different steps to get there and they're unsure how to get there. You want it to be, yeah, it's simple. We just do this, and it's a smooth, easy bridge to take you from your painful situation to your dream outcome. And finally is the questions and objections stage. So once you've pitched, they're gonna have questions. So the goal here is to answer any questions they have and conquer any objections they may bring up. So a question that will 100% come up is pricing. So what I usually do when they ask pricing, okay, this sounds great, but how much does this cost? Okay, before we go into pricing, can I just ask you something? Pricing aside, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you don't need this at all and 10 being, yeah, this is exactly what I need to solve my situation, where would you say you're on that scale? And if they say 8+, you can then go into the investment. If they say below 8, you can then be, okay, so you said 7 out of 10. What's kind of missing that would make it 8, 9, or 10? I just don't know how much budget we need for the ads. Oh, okay, so this is the budget we typically recommend for ads. Are you now clear on that? And are you now like an 8, 9, 10? Yeah. Okay, let's go. So if they're below an 8, you just want to ask some questions of why. But if they're above an 8, you can go into the investment. And always call it an investment, not a price. So you just say, yeah, so the investment for the meta ads is 1K a month. And that's for X, Y. Or you can say, so the investment for the ads, the optimization, the whole end-to-end process is just £1,000 a month. And sit there in silence. They need time to think it through and think of questions that they want to ask or if they're happy to go ahead. So sit there in silence once you say that. And they might have other objections. So objections are simply like things they're unsure about. And people often have this negative mindset around objections, but they would not have objections or ask questions if they were not interested. Objections are actually a reasonably good sign that someone is interested. They wouldn't be asking about ad budgets or how many videos you post per week or what your sales process is or how you do the AI systems unless they were interested. If they weren't interested, they'll just say, okay, this isn't for me. So what you need to do with objections is come in with a positive frame. Okay, so I'm not sure that We've tried meta ads before and they've not worked for us. I'm so glad you asked that, John. Can I just ask, with the meta ads, did you bring in a specialist to run those, or did you run them yourselves? Oh, I ran them yourselves. Okay, and can I ask, John, do you have experience running meta ads? No, I don't really know how to do them. I just put some ads up and, okay. So can you see how potentially someone with, like, you didn't have experience, so could you see how potentially someone with expertise could actually get these meta ads to work? And it's not actually meta ads that didn't work, it was more maybe the strategy. Okay, yeah, I do see that now. Yeah, so we have that expertise, and that's why we can get a result of X, Y, Z. Yeah, so can you see how I went into that quite positively? Like, I'm so glad you asked. So it spins it positive rather than saying this negative mindset of the objection. And also make sure to link back to the result. So I'm so glad you asked this. Conquer the objection and then link back to the result. And then finally, a lot of objections are surface level. So they might say, oh, I need to think about it. Okay, yeah, I wouldn't want you to rush into a decision, but it's obviously easier to go through anything on a call. What is it specifically that you need to think about? It's often like a smoke screen, they call it, is like they're trying to hide what their actual objection is. They're just like, the pricing's a bit tough at the moment, we're struggling financially. Okay, now at least you know the objection, you can try and handle that. Or I'm just unsure if we've got the budget for meta ads, or I'm just unsure how this would work. At least you then get the actual objection, which you can then handle. And then after the objection stage, question stage, you can then be, okay, you're ready to move forward, you know the investment, and we'll do the payment and contract on the call. It means we can get started right away. Tips is, do not bring up the investment until they ask. If they never ask, then you can bring it up and just say, okay, so have you any more questions? No. Okay, so now we can kind of go into the investment part. And silence is your friend. Do not fill the gaps. Let them speak. So if you ask a question, leave a bit of silence, or if there's a very short answer, if they're just like, oh, like a one-word answer, sometimes it's good just to sit there in silence and they'll expand on it. People like to fill the gaps, and you want them to fill the gaps to kind of give you more information. So that is the objection and question stage. And what's really good about this is once you do more and more calls, the same questions will come up, the same objections will come up. So it'll become easier and easier, and you'll get better and better at it. And again, this is just to bridge the gap between the painful situation and the dream outcome. And this is where you get paid. This is the best part. So sales, yes, you can be a bit scary at the start, but I promise you, once you do a few, I've had people inside my community nervous about it. After they do 2 or 3, they're like, oh, I actually quite enjoy this. Like, it's where you're actually building your business, it's where you're earning money, and it's where you're building your life of freedom if you close people on calls. And it's with this consultative selling, it's not as scary as you think, because you're genuinely trying to help them and understand them. So that is where you get paid. And finally is scalable service delivery. So with this, focus on one skill. So with your service, we don't want to be, oh, we do meta ads, organic, sales, email marketing, everything. You want to focus on getting good at one thing before you start to stack your skills. So in terms of service delivery, obviously it massively depends on what service you're delivering, but I'm going to go through the first 3 stages. So first is onboarding. And the important step of this is you never get a second chance to make a good first impression. And there's a thing called buyer's remorse. When they say you close someone on a call and they buy, straight away, or after a couple of hours, they might be like, oh, I'm a bit anxious about this. Did I make the right decision? Should I have paid them? Da, 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 da. They will start to have this nervousness build up. So we want to make sure this does not happen by creating immediate action. Straight away after, so on the call, you should get the contract and payment. Straight away after the call, you want to send them a message or an email saying, so great, I'm so happy to get you started. Here are the next steps. Here's a link to book on an onboarding call. Here is everything you need to know about my business. Here is everything we need to do for your business. Here is how it looks for the next week. Just message them straight away. Show that you're on it. Show that they made the right decision. If there's multiple members on the team, set up a group chat. If not, get their WhatsApp and make sure you message them WhatsApp or Slack or email. give them access to anything they need from your side and get access. Let's say you need access to their social media, get access to that, have a look at it and message them and be like, oh, I've looked through your social media, I've got access, that's all good. I look forward to getting ahead and I'll send over a bit of a strategy tomorrow for our onboarding call. Like that first impression, just by being really professional, being on it is the main thing, just messaging a lot, that is the main process to kind of make a really good start with your clients. First few weeks, you want to have an onboarding call, understand their business, their audience, systems, their expectations, and how they and you like to work. So really set the expectations. So they might only want you to message once a week, or they might say, WhatsApp's the best one for us, let's keep in contact every few days. Understanding what they expect makes it really easy for you to then keep them happy as a client. You want to be doing near daily contact at the start or daily. Just keep it in touch. Share an early win at the start. So as we said, we want to make sure that they know that they made the right decision. So just message them like, oh, by the way, I've just set up the ads, they're all ready to go, or I've just posted the first video on your social media, or we posted the first video and it actually did 10K views, it's really, really good. Or I've noticed a bit of traction to your website, we've generated you some revenue. Just anything that supports their decision to go with you. Anything where they think, oh, I made the right decision. And then we've got the ongoing, what you want to be doing throughout the whole process. So it's important to note that it's easier to keep a client than to sign a new client. Like, do not get stuck on this treadmill of one in, one out, one in, one out, one in, one out, because you cannot grow an agency that way. It's so much easier to provide a good service, be on it, keep your clients happy, rather than constantly just focus on outreach to then replace clients that are leaving and your income just stays like this rather than grows. And again, maintain 2 to 3 times a week contact. This could be any updates at what you're doing, resources they might find useful, any wins that you've got for them. And just always think, if you aren't in contact with them, they will presume you're not working on their business. This might not be true, but that is what they will presume. So yeah, this is the exact process that I went through to build my 25K a month agency. And I've also got a program. So I hope this video has been really useful. And if you want to work closely with me and inside my community and get access to even more resources that will help you scale an agency to 5, 10, 20K a month within 6 months, this is exactly what you can do. So this is our program. These are all different modules, step-by-step guide. And what you do is get direct one-to-one access with me. We go on one-to-one calls. You get my one-to-one WhatsApp. We have community calls every single week. So what this does is it just fast tracks your progress and makes it inevitable that you're going to get there. There's a link in the description to book in a call with me to see if you'd be a good fit for our program. We can ask you a few questions, understand where you're at, and how we can help, and if we even can help you. But yeah, there's a link in the description from that. You can always message me on Instagram as well. But as I said, it's a full step-by-step course. We've got 5 stars on Trustpilot, so you can read some of these reviews from Tom, Megan, Lee, Luke, Philip, Joe, Jay, like all of these saying great mentorship, great course, great community. Joe's incredible one-to-one support. Working with Joe has been a game changer. Working with Joe has honestly changed my life. As I showed you earlier, all the results, Tom now living in Bali with 5 clients, Johnny 2 clients in a week, Alex 13K deals signed in January, Joe signed 4 clients, Jay 3 clients in 90 days, Dan 3K a month, Dean 5 clients in 90 days, Robin 2 clients. All of these people were probably in a very similar situation to you. Working a normal 9 to 5, wanting to build a life of freedom, building an online income, and they've done it with a simple service agency because they stopped chasing these trends. They stopped switching between dropshipping, crypto, all of this shit online, and they've just simply provided one service which is sustainable and consistent income. We've got all of these testimonials on the Nomad Circle Instagram. Every single one of these is messages of people like, book my first sales call, book 4 sales calls, sign my first client, high ticket signing. All of these are just messages inside the community of people absolutely smashing it every single day, every single week. So yeah, if you're interested, if you found this video useful, booking a call with me. We can have a chat, no sales pressure or anything. We'll just see if it is something we can help with. And as I said, that is my ethos with genuinely no sales pressure. So yeah, thanks so much for watching the video. I'm excited for you to build a life of freedom. I've got so many more videos on my YouTube as well. I've also got a video which goes through my story, which I'll link at the end here, of how you can actually build a similar lifestyle to me and a similar agency to me. But yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and get in contact if you want to build a life of freedom.